Hi, it's my pleasure to be here. I'm so excited. What's my dream? My dream is to go into public service. No, it's not that I want to be president or anything. I think I'm living my dream already because I am in public service right now. I'm a journalist with Star 103.5 FM. I jumped back into journalism after a break of 13 years. So just to give you a recap of the previous chapters to my life, I was, in my previous chapters, a salesperson, the host of the Ghana franchise of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I was also, and still am, an author because I've written 4 books. And it's been interesting. But the reason I came back into journalism was a conversation I had with my father about 15 years ago. And he said, look, after you've made yourself financially independent, serve your people. Do something for other people than yourself. And I didn't quite understand what he said. Because in Ghana, when you think of serving people, then they think of, okay, I'm going to run for this seat or that seat. But as I have gone through my journey, I've realized that you can serve where you are and do a great job of it. So I get to wake up very early, weekdays at 4 a.m. In fact, I look forward to Fridays and Saturdays because those are the only days where my bedtime goes beyond 9 p.m. I get up very early, come to work at Star, and from 5 to 10, my job is to ask people questions, which doesn't really feel like a job because you're just asking questions. And I speak to a lot of people, mostly politicians, and you know how politicians are. So they will speak and tell you, okay, so we did this, and you're responsible for that, and it's always a back and a forth. And after only about 6 or 7 months at Star FM, I'm getting to feel a little bit jaded by the kind of things that they say, and you're thinking, wow, is this what it's all about? And does my dream go anywhere beyond what this is? And so I recently took to just, after my show at 10 o'clock, I just climbed to the rooftop and I relax and just cool down and start thinking about things. And I was wondering, so what's the next chapter of what I'm doing right now? Where do I take it to? What's the next level? And can I really get there? And so I was thinking about the things that I hear every morning about people making all kinds of promises that we're going to fix this for you and everything will be all right. And I thought, you know what? Let me test this. Let me project into the future because dreams are about what's going to happen in the future. And I put together my little focus group, and they are going to represent the people who will live out the dreams of the politicians. So I got my group together, and you should see them out there, but if you don't see them, well, my group consisted of 2 young people who will be able to vote in about 9 years' time. They'll be 20 and 18. My group actually consists of my kids, 2 boys. And what I did was I said, you know what? The time that you're coming to vote will be in about 9 years' time. Tell me what you think of Ghana. What will Ghana be? What will be your dream? And so they got to doing the work for me, and they put up some pictures. I wish you could see them, but the first picture they drew, and I'll describe it for you, was of a scene where every house had solar panels, and there were cameras everywhere. And I thought, okay, this is cool. So you're dreaming of a day where we're going to have solar power all around, and that makes a bit of a difference from what we have now where it's all about doomsaw, and people say, okay, we started the work to make sure that we have power, and then, no, you did it, and you didn't do it. But I saw a picture where it's all really, really futuristic. There are cameras everywhere, and I asked, so what's with the cameras? And they said, well, we need the cameras up there to catch all these motorcyclists who just drive through without stopping. So we're going to have cameras there. And I'm thinking, okay, so this picture can give me things to talk about on my show. So the people of the future are thinking about power situations. So we can talk about power. We can talk about issues of personal security because not only do the cameras stop people from committing crimes, but then how would you feel if you had to be watched all the time as it happens in other societies? So I'm sure we could have a conversation on the radio about issues of personal security, issues of power, how we get there. And then there was another picture that my son drew up for me as part of the focus plan. And this involved a scene where there's a gentleman who is a doctor, and he's standing in front of the patient, and he says, instead of your boring old injections, let's take a piece of hair and take it to the lab. And I thought, okay, so this is cool. So a 9-year-old is thinking of a day where in Ghana, we will have really high-tech solutions in our hospitals. And I was thinking, okay, this is cool, because most of the time, the agenda is drawn for us by people who have a goal that they want to get to, but then nobody talks about the issues of health and healthcare delivery and the great things that make a country special. So I'm thinking health would be a great idea to talk about in a different way and looking at solutions. And then another picture came up from the focus group discussion that I had, and this was a scene where, this is Ghana in 2024 when they'll be voting, a scene where it's all high-tech, it's leisure, and there's a community pool. And I'm thinking, why did you think of a community pool as your vision for Ghana, as your dream for Ghana? And they say, well, we like swimming, and we think that in every space in this country, we should have facilities for people who want to relax. And that resonated with me a lot, because as a family man with 3 kids, you go off to the park on a Sunday to go and have fun with your children, and they say the park is locked because the workers close on Fridays and they don't come to work on Sunday. So here you are, you want to go and relax in Ghana, and there's no place to enjoy. But in the vision of these young kids, there's a pool for every community. And it got me thinking about what I can talk about on my show. For example, the lack of spaces. So you drive through Accra and you see lots of high-rise buildings and not enough space for people to just relax. You see pictures of people on benches in Ebony and other magazines, but not enough space for people in Ghana to do what they have to do just to relax. So I was thinking, that's another thing we can talk about beyond just politics and what this politician said and what that politician said. And then I asked them, draw me a picture of what the future would look like as far as education in Ghana. And then this picture comes up of a scene in a school where, for some reason, the language is in French. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a son who doesn't like French. How come he's thinking that in the future there's going to be French? And I got thinking, and he said, well, they've been told in school that we're surrounded by French-speaking countries. Even the sea is French, Gulf of Guinea. So in the future, if we don't speak French, we're going to have problems with communicating with our neighbors. And for me as a journalist, that brought another dimension of the discussion to bear, because I read about countries where Chinese is now the preferred foreign language that people are supposed to learn because we want to be able to communicate with the Chinese people. And so it's not just French, but it's globalization. We don't hear much of that on the radio when it's all about the agendas of localized issues. So after this, my focused discussion with my kids, I went away thinking the future is a place where we have to go beyond just the local politics, but look at things that matter to people: security, power, leisure, education, things that make us rounded, and just take the discussion away from just politics. So the next chapter for me is to be the best in my field, to ask the right questions, to also look at the right topics to discuss. And this conversation will continue as long as I have breath. Thank you very much. God bless.